Hello, America. This is Call of Duty Goddess, and I think I have found the most interesting man in the world, and it isn't this man. This man's name is Witham Judson, or Judson Witham. Not sure which way it goes, but he has been exposing the New World Order for 30 years. He knows about the Illuminati. He knows about Agenda 21, Agenda 30. He knows what's behind it, how it happened, how long it's been going on. And I think that it's very important that you should hear from him. He also is a big fan of the Bundys and the Hammonds. So without further ado, let's hear from old Witham.
How deep is the corruption? How scared are the American people to speak up and to speak out about corruption within the United States government, the states governments, and the county governments? And why are they so afraid? You know, I found this old newspaper report dated October the 19th, 1986, and it's entitled Hoisting the Flags. It's a list of completely illegal, totally unlawful, outlaw land developments in one county, just immediately north of Houston, Texas. I'm going to try to show it to you here. It's called Hoisting the Flags. It's from the Conroe Courier. I know it's kind of hard to see it. But as you can see, all those names, those columns, all those names are the names of the land developments. Where's the FHA? FBI cover-up. Hoisting the Flags. That's from the Conroe Courier. October the 19th, 1986. List shows unrecorded subdivisions. Written by Lucy Proctor of the Conroe Courier. She starts out at Pinewood Village. There's strength in numbers, the adage goes, and Judson Witham hopes the saying holds true. Let me read a little bit of this. I haven't seen this in a while. I just came across it this morning. Witham, president of the Pinewood Village Homeowners Association, wow, that's a long time ago, appears often before the Montgomery County Commissioner's Court, asking for county action against the developers responsible for the badly rutted roads, contaminated water, and sewage all over the subdivisions. Witham has arranged an October 25th meeting of those who own lots in unrecorded subdivisions. The meeting begins at 1 p.m. in the Allendale Shopping Center on FM 1314 between Highway 105 and United States Highway 59. And the article goes on and on and on and on, hoisting the flags. And it's this giant list of all the illegal land developments. This is just in one county. This is just in one county, folks. One county where the government allowed thousands and thousands of these land developments all over the state. They're all over the state. Now, to my friends that are occupying Sherwood Forest against the orders of the king, the merry men of Robin the Hood occupying the bird sanctuary, the wildlife refuge, and Harney County, Oregon. You see, folks, Mr. Bundy and Mr. Bundy and Mrs. Bundy and Mrs. Bundy and the Bundy kids, you see Mr. and Mrs. Hammonds and all the Hammonds. The reason people are afraid to speak out and to speak up is because when you expose government corruption, the government comes after you to shut you up. I've had it done to me for years. Because you see, ladies and gentlemen, let me sneeze. Excuse me, it's wintertime. I got a little bit of a cold. You see, ladies and gentlemen, all over the United States, from Maine to Florida to Southern California to Alaska to Hawaii, and all the states in between, all over the United States, there's tens of thousands of completely illegal, unlawful land development projects that have been used by unscrupulous land development criminals, land development crooks, in cahoots with very corrupt bankers, very corrupt contractors, extremely corrupt suppliers and lawyers and judges and sheriffs and county attorneys and county judges and officials from the Housing and Urban Development Department and Postal Inspection Service inspectors and people from the Department of Justice and the FBI. Now, the reason I say that all those people are involved is all of the transactional paperwork for the marketing of these land developments and all the collections paperwork that's sent to the borrowers and to the creditors, excuse me. Well, that's not important. The billings to the people that have been victimized by these land swindles are all sent through the U.S. Postal Service. And the collections on the marketing and the financing for tens of thousands of land developments, millions of people being swindled, it's all being collected through the U.S. postal system. And I got train loads, tractor trailer loads, ship loads of proof. All kinds of evidence. And huge, massive numbers of witnesses, including law enforcement themselves. Presidents, governors, attorney generals, the Financial Fraud Investigation Task Force, the Office of Interstate Land Sales Registration at the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and I can go on. I can go on and on and on. This massive nationwide scandal involving literally millions of land developments all over the United States. I don't mean millions, millions of victims all over the United States. The financing and the banking, the collection of taxes, the tax assessments, the inspections that were supposed to happen by county officials. You've got government officials all over this United States that got their hands up, their palms out. They're getting kickbacks. They're getting taken care of by the crooks. Presidents, congressmen, senators, regulators, FBI, U.S. attorneys, you name it. They're all being taken care of. Now, to kind of fast forward and bring it to today, the 14th day of January 2016, you have this massive, unbelievable mountain of money that's been sucked out of the system. Trillions are missing. Trillions have gone up in smoke in this real estate related, real estate centered, real estate enabled, real estate swindling Ponzi pyramid con job involving all these completely illegal red flag. That's why Lucy Proctor, can you see her name there? Lucy Proctor, a courier staff. Hoisting of the red flags, October the 19th, 1986. And this is just one county. You can see the large list. You can see the large list. I think I'm holding that right. The large list of all these land developments, all those names that's just one county, folks. Those land development, those are subdivisions. Those are developments, not, street names or lot names. Those are for entire land developments in one county. And they're in all 114 counties in Texas, and they're in every county in America. This is how they've robbed trillions from the financial system. Speculative, bogus, illegal, unrecorded, subprime land developments. Substandard, dangerous, sewage all over the place, dirt roads, no drainage, you name it. They suckered huge numbers of people, massive millions of people have been suckered in these land deals over the years. And it's been going on for a long time. It's all tied into land swindling and land conning, just like at that bird sanctuary south of Burns, Oregon, with the BLM and all the people that work for the BLM and all the people that work for the FBI and all the people that work for the county sheriff and all the people that work for the county. Everybody's getting paid to be part of that racket. There's your explanation, Amon Bundy. Why are people afraid to stand up and say something? Because there's too many people that are on the dole. There's too many people that are receiving financial benefits from going along with the program. Wow. They did it to the American Indian. They stole everything in sight, from sea to sea, from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Canada, Central America, South America, the entire landmass known as the Americas were swindled and stolen by the crowned heads of Europe, the British crown, the kings and queens of England and France and Spain and the Netherlands. They've done it hugely in Africa. They've done it as far away as Australia and New Zealand, all of Canada. This land swindling and conning by the king's men is identical to the story of Sherwood Forest and Robin Hood and his men. Robin Hood was written at Witham Abbey, at a Christian monastery, Witham Abbey. Imagine that, folks. And it was a fictitious tale, of course, but it was written in that fashion in fiction by monks because it was against the law to speak out against the king and the queen. They could not directly name the British royal family members and the British sheriffs and British soldiers and the ecclesiastical authorities that were abusing and oppressing and suppressing and taxing the people that lived in the royal forests of England. You see, they didn't have private property rights in England. Everybody rented from the crown. Everybody was a serf. Everybody was a peasant. Everybody was a taxpayer under the boot heel of tyranny of the British royal families, because there was all kinds of British royal families, and noblemen and barons, and you had princes and duchesses and all these cronies, and the enforcement network of the British royal family government all over England. William Wallace stood up against it, Braveheart. You see what they did to William Wallace? They disemboweled him, and they kidnapped his family, and they used them for slaves. Take a look at the history of the British royal families taking their own kids. This is where the word kidnapping came from. And they'd stuff them in ships and send them over to the colonies to be slaves. White children from Ireland and Scotland and England. Children slaves.